Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let them boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. It's a new day, Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name, replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these Cowboys. Keep it in your host.
What is going on? This is One Ass Cheek and Three Toes. I am B Strilla, the Thriller, and I got my man Jay here with me as well.
What's going on?
We are missing, speaking of three toes, we're missing two of them.
Yes, sir. We're missing two more. What's going on?
But that's okay. They'll be back. You know, there's some technical difficulties with one, and the other one is, you know, work gets you sometimes. Yeah. So, sure. But we are here to help entertain you about the post-game show for the Lions that happened on Sunday, which we were victorious 26-20 in overtime against the Los Angeles Rams. Let me say, Matt Stafford in the Los Angeles Rams, so everybody can be hype about that. Yep. So how you doing today, Jay?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm great, man. It's 2 days after a Lions victory. Can't feel no better. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, I'm pumped, dude. Listen, I stood up till about 12 o'clock at night. I had to be to work at 5 in the morning the next day just to see the Lions, and it was well worth it. You know, listening to a lot of people talk, they were like, oh, I went to bed because it was too long. Man, if you are a Lions fan, you want to see that win. You need to see that.
You had people say that to you, man?
Oh, man, it was crazy. What kind of person goes to sleep early on the home?
On the Lions. Right.
Opener,
man. And the Lions, the way that they are, I mean, why would you even – I don't even know, man. It's just wrong. It's all wrong.
Let me tell you, people, a lot of people ain't got it in their hearts. You got to find it deep down inside. You got to pull it out of you, you know? I wanted to see that win, man. I was pumped.
Bandwagon fans. Anyway.
I know, right? I couldn't even sleep that night, man. Like,
me neither.
Come on, man. Dude, it was crazy. But, yeah, man, doing good today. I'm ready to get into it, bro.
I think I went to bed at about 2 o'clock. And then even then, it took me a minute to get this. It took me a couple of minutes to get to sleep because I was like juiced. I had just come from my boy's house. You know, I had a little brew. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I got you.
I went to sleep fast though because of the brew. But anyway, I was juiced, man. I was hype all the way after I left out the house too. So
man, hell yeah, dude! I'm telling you, man. Hey, it's nothing like a Lions victory, man.
Yeah, victory. Well, it's Victory Tuesday, but that's fine. I'm going to count victories all the way until we get our next victory.
Yes, sir.
Every day's a victory day.
Yes, sir. Until we get to that Sunday, I'm still considering it a victory week for me.
That's right. Victory week.
Let's go.
Yeah. A victory day. We have victory weeks here. Okay.
Sir.
So what did you like about the game? Besides we won.
So getting into some breakdowns, one thing I liked about the game, I'm going to point out one thing specifically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Aiden Hutchinson, he had a 90.3, just player rating from PFF. He was the highest rated Detroit Lion, I think. Man, yep. Aiden Hutchinson, he looks like a beast out there. You know, a lot of people, they were looking for a lot of improvement from Aiden Hutchinson, and look, he did it, man. Aiden Hutchinson did what he was supposed to do. He got the sack that actually put the Lions into overtime. He was putting a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford. Yeah, he got the roughing the passer call, but you want to see the other quarterback be under duress. You want to see him uncomfortable. You want him to complain about penalties and everything else because, listen, if he isn't, that means he's killing your defense. We don't want that. That means you're making it way too comfortable for him. And if you remember last season, you've seen a lot of people, you know, trashing him because the Lions went a couple of games without a sack. You didn't see that this time. You've seen Aiden Hutchinson get home. You know, so one thing that really impressed me big time was that pass rush, man. I'm so proud of that defensive line. Big time.
Yeah, I really thought the defensive line played pretty well considering that DJ Reader wasn't in there. Now, and even the running game gave them problems in the beginning, but it seems like they shut that down over the course of the game. But I mean, Levi got a sack. Levi got a sack. And Davenport came close like 50 million times. And so, I mean, and Aleem almost had one like at the beginning of the first quarter. Like I think it was on the Rams' first drive. He almost pushed that offensive tackle all the way into Stafford's lap. But Stafford, to the credit to the Los Angeles Rams, they knew this was going to happen because they knew they had a defunct offensive line. So they got the ball out of Stafford's hand fast. Stafford did that. I think that was a good game plan by the Rams. And they did some damage. Cooper Kupp, I mean, he's Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, it's Cooper Kupp, man. He's going to eat, you know.
He and that other Robinson guy, he was doing pretty well too. So, I mean, as far as the defensive line though, it wasn't just because he was throwing quick. He had to throw quick a lot of times because they were like in his lap practically. So, yeah, I like that about and I can't wait until DJ Reader comes back and puts that line in there. I can't wait.
Oh boy! Now I know the injury report comes out tomorrow. You know, let's just hope everybody's healthy. Nobody's hiding any injuries, and you know, let's pray we get a healthy front four because I want to see what it's like with Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, Aiden Hutchinson, and Davenport. I think that's going to be one of the top 3 best defensive lines in the NFL. You know, one remark that Aleem McNeil made, I want to point this out. He said that he heard Davenport hitting the other guys. You know, when they hiked the ball, he said he heard him hitting the offensive lineman. He said that kind of shook him a little bit. That's just to let you know the mammoth of a man, you know, Marcus Davenport
is, yeah.
You know, so, I mean, if we can play with that intensity, that tenacity, all these games, man, this defensive line is going to be unstoppable. Going to be crazy. Let me tell you.
You know, yeah, as long as Davenport stays injury-free, DJ Reader stays on the steady, man, that defensive line is going to be great. But I tell you what, man, head cracker of the game was Alex Anzalone. That dude was everywhere, and he was hitting hard like he wanted to kill somebody. That dude, like when he first made his first tackle, I swear that one where they had a swing pass, and he just buried that guy. And then I was like, dang, Alex, what did you eat before you came out here?
Yeah, that's Thor right there. That's Thor right there. He sure played like him, man. Yeah. Alex Anzalone, I just want to be the first to say that a couple of years ago when they signed Alex Anzalone, I was a bit against it because I felt like if he was pretty good down there with the Saints that he would have stayed there. But no, he came here for Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell. And he was underrated. I was one of the people underrated him. But, man, that man is a beast. You know, like you can see that he's the leader of that defense. I thought it'd be Jack Campbell kind of taking on a little bit of the role, but it's Anzalone. Everybody rallies around Anzalone, man. That guy is a monster. He's him. I give it to him, you know. And it's the reason why a lot of people kind of fear Anzalone is because he's not scared to make an open field tackle. He's not arm tackling. He's going to hit you. He's going to punch you straight in the mouth and come back and do it over again the next play. Sideline to sideline linebacker. He can get in the backfield when needed. I like that guy. Beast.
Yeah, St. Brown show, they were talking to Justin Fields, and Justin Fields would say, you got dirty players over there. And, you know, St. Brown's like, we don't have no dirty players over here, man. Stop all that. He goes, no, that one guy hit me out of bounds. What's his name? I don't like that guy. Anzalone or whatever the heck his name is. He goes, man, Dan Campbell teaches us all to play until the whistle blows. And he said sometimes to be on the edge, but he said we play within the lines of the game. Yeah, if he hits you outside, well, you know. And they showed a couple of plays where Anzalone had, you know, knocked the crap out of Justin Fields as he was running out of bounds and stuff like that. Well, near out of bounds, but he hit him within the boundaries. He just hit him hard. Yeah, and he Justin Field didn't like that.
Can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. You know what comes with running you know what comes in trying to run as long as you can, and you try to avoid that linebacker, he's going to put it on you to make sure you don't try that again. Oh, there will be no faking going out of bounds and trying to pick up a few extra yards, because those few extra yards could be a first down, which could lead to a touchdown. You know, that's why Dan Campbell teaches him to play until you hear that whistle. It ain't over. You want to come? You want to run at me? I'm going to make sure you don't want to run at me the next time. You may want to try the other guy and not me.
But speaks of values too, because Brian Branch had a fair game. However, there was a lot of tackles he was missing. And when he came into the locker room after the game, he came right up to DC and said, "You know what? I'm not missing no more tackles." Said it straight to his face and went back to his locker. He said, "I'm not missing no more tackles." He told Dan, because Dan Campbell said, he came up to me and said, "I'm not missing no more tackles, coach. Not doing it."
Yeah. You know, I want to ask you a question. What did you think about our defensive backs? Because I feel like our defensive backs did a really good job.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, Carlton Davis played out of his mind. Kirby had a relatively good, he had a really good game too. He had quiet relatively, except for the interception that he had. He really didn't, he didn't come down and blast anybody, but he made his tackles and he covered where he was supposed to. Brian Branch, probably getting used to the safety role in the NFL. That's probably why he missed a couple tackles. He was probably amped up. And you know how Brian Branch is anyway. He plays any of his positions like way up there. And so it's just probably he almost picked off Stafford like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Making the chance interceptions. And that's what he did at Alabama. That's what makes him such a unique, because he can read a play before it actually gets started. And that was one good thing about Brian Branch when DC was talking about him, is that he can read offensive plays before they even get going. And that's why he's on top of stuff. That's why he's going to be one of the best safeties in the league. I thought Carlton Davis had a really good game. He played really well on coverage. I saw him, he made a couple of tackles on a run. Sub-Zero, he had a good game, but for rookie. Okay, rookie wise, like that one pass interference in the end zone. I said, dude, you got to turn around. You cannot do that in the NFL. You have to turn around and look for the ball. You cannot face guard that guy like that. They're going to call that every time. So he did well. When Carlton Davis went out real quick with that wind, he had a wind issue. He got hit and he got the wind knocked out of him. Rakestraw came in there and played pretty good in this place. Amik Robertson did a good job too. He was kind of the silent one on that squad. You didn't really hear too much about him, but you did hear when Rakestraw came in there, because they had both rookies playing the corners, and they thought Stafford was going to take advantage of that, and he really didn't. Cooper Kupp was taking advantage of everybody. Cooper Kupp's just Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's like Amon St. Brown. He's going to get the ball. He's just going to get the ball. And like I said, the linebackers played pretty decent. I saw, like I said, Alex was really good. Barnes, he played okay. As far as the rookie, the sophomore now, he played well. He played okay, but he kind of got staged out. Rodrigo was in there, and he was balling near the end of the game. So they put everybody, and they basically put everybody in. Or Pico had some he played like 37, 36 snaps, something like that. He was in there. They all did pretty well. It's just that, when you got a quarterback back there that's a veteran and he knows how to play a fast game, it's going to make your defense look like they ain't out there. But that's because you got to get, and that's a tribute to the fact that they knew they had no offensive line, really. Jonah Jackson was playing a damn center role. He didn't ever play center, except when he was in high school. So, I thought the defense played pretty well, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you my opinion. I think the defense played great. Now, obviously we know there were a few hiccups because you had a secondary that never played together, right? You got the addition of Terry and Arnold and Carlton Davis, and Amik Robertson played well as well. So I think that, for what it's worth, going up against a high-powered offense like the Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, that's like a trio right there that's just made in heaven, right? So I look at it and say I think Terry and Arnold did a good job going up against Cooper Kupp because, for one, I mean, yeah, he got a couple penalties on him, but he was right there. Never once did Cooper Kupp just lose him. I mean, he had to go out there and shake him. He had to shake him, and there was a few passes that he broke up, and also, I mean, got a few good tackles. When he caught the ball, he brought him down immediately. Wasn't a lot of yards after the catch. It just wasn't existent, you know. So I think Terry and Arnold, overall, I give Terry and Arnold a B against Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's just certain players you know that are going to eat. There are certain players you know that's going to catch the ball. Cooper Kupp is a 10 reception guy, you know, maybe 110, 111 yards per game on top of a touchdown or two, depending on the situation. So I think Terry and Arnold, the way he played well. There was never once a time where I thought, even when they were trailing, where I thought, oh God, here it goes. You know, I felt pretty confident that our defense would be able to make a stand. And then they went over and they got a turnover, right? Kirby Joseph, he got a turnover as well. And obviously that was before the half, but just showing you how things shape up. Carlton Davis' leadership in the secondary helped out as well. You see, he almost caught a pick. Matthew Stafford should have thrown at least 3 pick sixes, 2 to Branch, 1 to Carlton Davis. That's just, you know, to show you if they can actually catch the ball, you can create turnovers. You can put your defense, your offense in a lot better position. I look at Kirby Joseph, man. I don't know if you're on Instagram or not, but I follow him on Instagram. And he posted a picture and a photo, or a video, I should say, of him picking off Matthew Stafford with the quote saying, I'm going to go quote him really quick. He was trash talking Matthew Stafford, and I loved it, man, because that's just the swagger this Lions team need. So, quote, he said, was talking crazy, now he a trophy I'm going to put on my shelf, close quote. And, man, he's a beast. You know, like when you see your secondary running to the ball, you got a lot of ball hawks out there, that's the recipe for a good game. Freak, man, I liked it. I got so much I can say about Brian Branch because, you know, he pretty much missed a lot of the offseason due to an injury and lingering injury. So it's like he's going to have to work his way back in there. But I think he did well at the safety position as well. You know, I seen Ray Stroud come in for a few plays, and I think that he kind of played well. I know he didn't get targeted, but still, you know, being able to be glued to your receiver, I think that's something that Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn like to see. Our linebackers, like we just talked about, Anzalone, that guy, he's a monster. I didn't see really much of Derek Barnes. Rodrigo, I did see him come in and make a few plays, but overall, I give our defense about an A-, B+. I'd say about an A-, B+ for our defense because you got tested. You got tested by one of the best passing offenses in the league in the Los Angeles Rams. You gave up 20 points. Yeah, you had 2 receivers, you know, get about 100 yards and a touchdown, but at the end of the day, you didn't fold. It was easy for the Lions to fold, especially when they went down a touchdown, you know, but they came back. They were resilient. So give me, I'd say about an A- for that Lions defense, man. And I want to see more. I definitely want to see more. For sure.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I would say that I guess what do you rate AG's defensive play calling? He didn't play a lot of he played a lot of zone.
Right
now they were getting and they were getting cut up. They were getting cut up in zone a lot of times. That's where Cooper Kupp got a lot of his yards from zone coverage. When they went to man, they weren't too bad against man.
No, they weren't. They weren't giving up chunk plays.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't giving up chunk plays. And I think that when you play zone, Matthew Stafford is great against the zone. You know, I mean, he can carve your zone defense up. He can see when your linebacker or your nickel corner, somebody is just standing there trying to protect his zone. He can dice you up that way. And I didn't like that game plan, but, you know, I think the proper adjustment he made going to, you know, man defense, I think that was like great. But overall, I'll probably say I'll give his game plan about a B- because at first it killed us. You know, at first it was killing us. But he adjusted. And when you can make the necessary adjustments, that's what it's all about. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. You know, and they finished the game with a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? With a lot of intensity. They knew they couldn't give up big plays. You know, toward the end, they knew they couldn't give up big plays. You know that you're down. You need to be able to get a stop. They got that stop. You know, it didn't help that the Rams were, you know, getting a lot of penalties and had to get backed up. I don't know if you noticed that as well, but I mean, they made a stop, forced them to a field goal. That's what it's about, man.
Yeah, I think that the problem with AG sometimes is he tries to protect the players too much. And when he was playing zone, that's what he's doing. He's like, you know, we got a veteran quarterback out here who's throwing dots. He's throwing dots because you're playing zone, dum-dum. I said, if you played man coverage, you'd have a less of a problem. And that was what it when they played man coverage, dude. Stafford he made some mistakes. Those are the ones where almost, you know, interceptions almost happen.
Yes.
I'm not understanding what he's not seeing in the game as a defensive coordinator that we're seeing in the game. You know, I know I'm a layman Lions fan as far as, you know, defensive and offensive coordination goes. But if I'm seeing that you're doing one thing right as far as calling the defense on man coverage and it's working, I'd keep doing it until you figured it out. And
I agree.
And I'm sure, and that's really where you want your corners to get their bumps and bruises anyway. You want Arnold to go out there and have to play man coverage. You want to see, you know, because you get out there with a speedy receiver, you know, he's got to learn how to play bump and run so that against speedy receivers, so they don't burn him all the way down the field. Because I mean, Terrion Arnold's fast, but he's not. There's a lot of receivers in our division that are tremendously fast.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to learn that way. And I don't think that you need, as long as he's got safety help above him, you know, go for it. That's what this play man. This is what you asked for in the first place when you asked Dan Campbell to build get players for your defense. You asked for people who can cover man. This is the problem we had last year because most of the players that we had in the back were zone corners. Sutton was no man-to-man corner. That was way obvious.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, because he was getting burnt each time. You seen the receiver behind him, and then he trying to hurry and run and track him down. My man, it's already late. He already scored the touchdown.
Or try to play bump and run on a line and get blown up by that receiver. I was like, dude, are you what cornerback? Where did you go to school at? Because I want to know. I don't understand how you get blown up on the line on man coverage. You're a cornerback. You should be one blowing them up. That's the whole point.
Exactly. He did a lot of zone blitz, and I think that Matthew Stafford is good against, you know, like I say, zone blitz, and he displayed that, you know. But when, like you said, when he got in the man, you see him holding on to the ball a little bit longer, trying to evade Aiden Hutchinson and everybody on that defensive line. You know, I think that should be the game plan going forward because it's like when you're going up against great passers, I'm not going to call Baker Mayfield. I know we're going to get to that a little bit later in the show, but when you're going up against people that can sling the ball, they're going to eat you. They're going to eat, you know, and like I say, our corners are young. You know, we got a lot of young players in our secondary, and if they're going up against experienced wide receivers, it's going to be hard, you know. But, you know, I think Aaron Glenn, I think he's just testing things out. I think he's just testing the players. He want to see how do you respond to, you know, facing adversity. How do you respond going up against a Cooper Kupp, right? So if he's beating you in zone, how are you going to be able to, you know, keep up with that? What adjustments are you going to make as well as a player? He want to see that. And Terrion Arnold, he has a high football IQ. I think, you know, we could agree upon that. And he knows what he has to do to complete his assignment. He knows that he has to just basically be glued to the receiver's hip, you know, make a play, make a football play, and make a football IQ move. Terrion Arnold is capable of doing that. You know, our whole secondary is capable of doing that. So, but yeah, that zone, man, it was killing me. I wanted to throw my TV out of the freaking house because I'm like, God, how is Cooper Kupp open again? How is this guy open again? And, you know, fortunately for the defense, the Lions defense, but unfortunate as a whole, Puka Nacua got hurt, and that really took the steam out of that Rams offense, man. Because, I mean, hey, let's face it. Right now, I think he's the best receiver they have on that team. It's not discrediting Cooper Kupp because we know who he is, but Puka Nacua, I mean, listen, he's the young, he's the future. You know, he's fresh. So I mean, I hope he gets better. But man, goddamn, I'm just happy. I'm pumped that this Lions team did what they did, man. Seriously.
Yeah, and you just think if they get better and clean up a lot of the stuff that they weren't good at Sunday, I mean, and I expect that. I mean, I think my expectations, I had predicted a 38-14 score. So I was 12 points short on the Lions end, and the Rams got 6 more points than they were supposed to get. But I think my expectations were high. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's a good thing. You're a Lions, when you got into the season 10 years ago, your expectations like, damn, I hope we can win. Now, when you go into this season, it's like, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. Yeah,
exactly. We need to win this game. And look at it this way. Early in the season, when you lose out of conference, because we're in the NFC North, right? When you lose out of conference games against another playoff contender, that game right there could be the tiebreaker that you need to get into the playoffs, right? And that is going to pay dividends later on. I want to just explain that to people, because if you remember 2 years ago when the Lions went 9-8, they lost to the Seahawks early in the season, right? And then they just needed the Seahawks to lose to the Rams, which is they did, and they won and went on to the playoffs. Those are important games. These games are very important that you win. You give it your all, because everybody's gotten better. The Lions aren't the only team that's gotten better. So you want to be able to win as many games as you can, especially in the NFC, and take it away. Next week we got another opponent from the NFC that won the NFC South last season and made it to the playoffs. They beat Philadelphia, who was the number 4 seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They beat Philadelphia. So
blew them out.
I mean, games like that are very important. And I said I thought it'd be a closer game. I think I predicted to be like a 21 something. I have to go back and look, but I predicted to be a close game, because I just know that it's the NFL. I don't expect them to go out and dump truck everybody that they play. I want to see that. Everybody would like to see it. But, there's going to be games where, I mean, you think that they're going to win, and it could be a trap game. You look at me like, hey, I did not predict this team beating the Lions. But, man, the Lions are a 7-point favorite against the Bucs this week. A 7.5 point favorite against the Bucs this week. That's a huge number for the NFL. If you think about it, most of the time, games are a 1-score game. Settled by 1 score or less. So it's like, if the Lions can go out there and cover the spread, man, that's just to show everybody out there that this is a real contender, that they are here to stay. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I was going to say, I wanted to switch to the offense really quick, because we got a lot to talk about on our offense, man. First, I want to give Jameson Williams his flowers, that whole offense, but I want to really specifically talk about Jameson Williams. He's been going through a lot. A lot of people has counted him out. A lot of people has called him a bust and everything, and just saying, hey, why don't we trade him? It was even people talking about trading him to the Carolina Panthers for Brian Burns, when he was still there, obviously. But I'm glad Jameson Williams is shutting all of his haters up. He had a touchdown. He had 5 catches, 136 yards. That man right there is something the Lions need. We were talking about how Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta had gotten taken out of the game. They got game plan for him. When you look and you see St. Brown or Laporta on a crossing route, they try to take the middle away. Guess who's on the outside running down the sidelines? J-Mo. You understand? And this is exactly what we needed to see from Jameson Williams. You wanted to see him take the top off of the defense. You wanted to see him get past his defender. And he displayed every ounce of that. So I want to give Jameson Williams his flowers, man. What do you think?
Well, I have a slide for that.
Uh-oh.
That's Jameson Williams and then the Chicago Bears offense.
I love it. Total yards in week 1. Jameson Williams, 134 yards. The Chicago Bears, 148. Woo.
Yep.
Woo.
I thank Jeff Risen for that one. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
that's crazy that one receiver that the whole NFC North was calling a bust had only 14 less yards than the
then
Chicago.
the team that has the three supposedly the best receiver core, best tight ends. Can't say too much about their offensive line, and the pink fingernail Caleb Williams out there. He's supposed to be Superman, and dude only threw for 93 yards. But anyway, that's besides the point. It's just I'm just adding on to what you're saying about what the NFC North has said about Jameson Williams, the fans, and everybody like that, and even old Lions fans, sometimes, and those are the ones that frustrate me the most. I said, yeah, maybe we should trade. I said, dude, this is his first full year playing. Last year he had the suspension. The year before he was hurt. Give the dude a break. Let him play a full season. So what does he do when he comes out the first game? He says he's going to do better the next game. Dude is confident as hell. I love that about him now. I needed to see Jameson do something in the first game. I really did. And people say, oh well, that's because I said that's right. They did game plan pretty well for Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta, but although we'll get into that later too. I did see Amon-Ra St. Brown open a couple of times when Goff. We'll get into that later, but anyway. But Jameson had he had a good game, and he was blocking pretty well too. There was a couple of runs that Montgomery and Jameer ran that I saw him throwing his shoulder out there on. So dude was doing everything.
That's what it's all about, man. And I know that he had a little bit of maturity issues. He fessed up to it. Doesn't make him a bad guy. When we talk about maturity, he was a young kid coming into the NFL, high expectations. A lot of people just expected him to be laser focused. Doesn't happen like that all the time. He's a kid. You need to grow up and mature. That's what he did, man. You see him on both ends of the ball, not just passing, but blocking as well. Like you just said, him throwing his shoulder out there. What was Ben Johnson's motto last year for Jameson Williams? Put that whole offense, right? Skill players. No block, no rock. So He got that down. He got the whole blocking thing down, and he's catching. Man, Jameson Williams, he's going to be a problem. If he can stay like that, and if he can play this or 70% of what he was Sunday, it's going to be a beast, man. I'm going to go out on the limb and say if Jameson Williams keep up what he did Sunday, man, he's going to be an MVP candidate. I guarantee you that. And not just because I'm a homer or people want to call you a homer, but those numbers like that, 5 receptions in a touchdown with 134 yards, that right there that's good. That's well over 1,000 yards in the season with over 10 touchdowns. So let's go, man. I like it. What about David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs? I mean, God.
David Montgomery, that dude is a beast.
He's a beast.
He runs with authority.
Yes.
I didn't like what the offensive line was doing for most of the game. They weren't really blocking well. In fact, I saw Penei Sewell get blocked, get rushed through a couple of times. I was like, Penei, man, come on, man. and Glasgow. I mean, they all had pretty good games. So Penei, Glasgow, and I think it was it might have been Ragnow. I'm thinking, is it Ragnow? Oh, Zegler played. Ooh, let me tell you, Ziegler, he played really well in that game. He was probably the only offensive line that I was not pissed off at in the first 3.5 quarters. But I tell you something. When it came to winning that game, that offensive line pinned their ears back and pushed that Rams defensive line all the way back. You notice that, and then when it's overtime came and they were driving down the field and they were just running the ball. They threw one pass. Ben Johnson said, "You know what? We're going to get this."
Quick thing, really quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Nate says send him the invite. Nate wants to get the invite. I'm gonna tell him we're going to send it right now.
The invite. He wants to come on.
Yeah.
Well, why does he need an invite? He's got it. All
Yeah,
he has to do is
that's what I was just thinking of. He said send me the invite, your admin, so you can do it. I'm not really sure how to do that really quick.
well, I mean, no, he has admin privileges. I don't understand why he can just get on StreamYard and get right in. I don't understand why he's having an issue.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, yeah. He said send him an invite. I'm like, I'm not sure how to work that. I'll tell B Strilla.
Just tell him to
Looky here, Nate. If you're watching this, listen, you gotta hop on, man. I'm sorry, I can't help you out with that. I know just send me the invite. I don't know what's going on. Oh goodness gracious. Oh goodness gracious. All right, I'll send it to him now.
Yeah. I mean, he can get it. He's an admin. There's no problems with that. I don't understand. I don't either, man. You got on here without having an invite, right?
I did. Yes, sir.
Yep. That's all you were an admin. That's why. I don't understand why he's not doing it, but
there we go. Let me see if I can send it to him really quick.
But in the meantime, let me finish my statement while you're doing that, dear Jay. Yep. In the overtime period, I mean, like I said, there was only one pass thrown. Ben Johnson said, you know what? We're just going to run this rock. We're going to be showing the grit that we're made of. And let me tell you, that offensive line, every single play that was a run play, they pushed that defensive line back at least 1 to 2 yards every play. And yeah, Montgomery was running in there like a bull, but let me tell you something. He had like a 1 to 2 yard cushion to run into like a bull. And it all culminated with the last, when he got the touchdown. I mean, they pushed the whole defensive line into the end zone. I was like, wow. Now you guys want to get ready to play. Now you want to play. But I mean, it's a great time to be ready to play because you win the game that way. But I was like, woo, that's the number one offensive line in the country.
They bullied that Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. I agree. They bullied that Rams defense. Listen, anytime you can make a defense call a timeout knowing that they're about to get scored on, you're doing a great job. I mean, they just ran, 5-6 straight plays. Sean McVay was like, hey, you know what? Let me get a timeout, man. These guys they're gassed. They just can't keep it up anymore. They're gassed. I loved it. I love every single moment. I don't know if you remember when you seen Dan Campbell's face. He had a smile on his face when they got the ball and at overtime they got the coin toss. Man, at that time you knew it was over. That's when Sean McVay knew he messed up. And right there, that's just to let you know that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. They finished with grit. They finished with a lot of determination. That's a championship mentality right there. Because let's face it, Rams are a good team. A lot of people are overlooking because it's the Rams and you went to overtime, they're overlooking that. That's what a championship team does. When you face adversity, how do you respond? Just happens. Kind of remind me of the NFC Championship game. I'm sorry I got to bring up old wounds. But think about it, holding a lead, then later in the game, they're coming back and you go down. How do you respond to that? Again, they came back and they won. They ran the ball. They went to their strengths. They went to that well, and they kept running the ball. Got the touchdown. That's how you win championships right there. That's how you win.
Yep. And it started, the offensive line push started when they tied the game up. They really, and that's when, the defense played solid in that third quarter. Half that third quarter, near the end of it, they played solid. They stopped Matthew Stafford from doing a lot of stuff, man. They were coming in there like with a vengeance. So the defense helped that out. But once the offense got the ball and there was a few seconds, left, when they were in a 2-minute warning thing, they held their own. They pushed when they needed to push. They got that field goal. And then it was over from that point. Once the coin flip went into our favor. They just went down there and scored. So
yeah, man, it was great, man. You know, I think that, you know, if they keep this up, man, this is going to be a long season for every team they face. You know, the Lions got 3 outdoor games this season. 2 is one with Chicago, 1 with Green Bay,
and 1 with San Fran.
Oh yeah, 3 games. The Lions, they play well. They play very well in the teams. I think their numbers are almost double of what they are on the road. You know, so I mean, this team is made for the long run. What's up, Nate?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
You made it just time for the transition, man. I was going to transition into the NFC power rankings, man. I hope you got your power rankings ready.
Shoot, man. I didn't even think about that yet. Just got off work. I can give you the best of my knowledge, but
all right, let's go. Or you can piggyback off of what I got, man. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Be Shirley, you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So the NFC power rankings, number 1. Unfortunately, it's not our Detroit Lions. I got the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep,
49ers, man, they just put a beating on the Jets last night, man. It wasn't even a close game. No CMC. You know, Brandon Ayuk, I don't know what happened with him, but he disappeared. I think he just wanted to, you know, get out of the stadium as fast as he could. He dropped a few passes in the end zone, so it was like, I didn't think the Jets stood a chance at all. And anytime you got Trent Williams who can bully a Quentin Williams, that whole defensive line, oh, you're doing something right. So number 1, I got San Francisco 49ers. What's up, Nate?
And I think also they're number 1 until we beat them.
Yeah.
Period. Like we have to beat them before we could be number 1 in the NFC.
Yes.
And until that happens, unfortunately, it won't be till the end of the year. But you know, yeah, the 49ers look very good, and the defense looks legit. That running back, Mason, undrafted, was running strong and hard. They got a 1-2 punch with that guy. Debo, Kittles, Ayuk will get it figured out. Purdy looks solid. Yeah, they're a team to beat.
Dude, do they miss on any skill players? Seriously, I gotta ask that question. Do they miss on any skill players? One bad skill player they have on that team.
So the 49ers are kind of like the Lions. They start with the run game. They want to play good defense, and they have skill position players, but their bread and butter is the run game, throwing to Kittle, and playing great defense.
Yeah, man.
And the Lions is kind of similar. The run game, play great defense, and get the ball to St. Brown.
Yep.
You know?
I agree.
And so, yeah, they have skilled players, but they don't always utilize them as much, you know.
Yeah, man.
Because
what say you, B?
Yeah, I agree with that whole situation because, I mean, San Francisco is going to be San Francisco. It's kind of like in the AFC, Kansas City is Kansas City. You know, they can, even in Kansas City doesn't have half of their weapons with them, they still will find a way to win. They might not have the greatest season, but when it gets to the playoffs, if they get in the playoffs, it's kind of the same thing with San Francisco. They get in the playoffs, you better watch out because they're going to be steamrolling through some teams.
Yeah. We need to beat them before we could even talk about being better than them, period.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. I hear you. All right. Well,
we will.
We will. It just will take a time. It'll take a minute.
Of course. Let's week 17. 16. I want to say something.
I
like
think
that.
it's 16. Yeah, 17.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's down the line. It's like the last couple of games
before Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's our last game, and San Francisco's the game before that.
It might not even matter. It might not even matter if we play. We might have already wrapped it up. Who knows?
That's true. But moving on to number 2, I have the Detroit Lions at number 2, and I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people may scratch their head and ask what's going on, but the Detroit Lions, they started where they left off at. They one of the best running teams. You know, their defense have vastly improved. You know, B. Srill and I were just talking about, you know, at no point in time, even though Cooper Kupp and Nakua were eating, did we think our defense was in trouble. We knew the defense understood this.
They weren't getting shredded like they were in the playoff game. They were dinking and dunking, and I'm okay with that because you got to go, like Dan said, you got to go. They went 80 plays and scored 20 points. I'm good with that.
Exactly. I agree. You know, and then you look at our running backs. Our running backs and linemen saved the day. Our linemen said, hey, you know what? Hop on my back. We're getting to the promised land. Let's go.
That was solid, bro. Best. I've never seen a takeover like that in an overtime game where it was just utter domination from the get-go. And, you know, Goff at the end, what did he say? He made some comment or something like, let's go or let's finish this up. He was very cocky when he made the comment, and then they scored a touchdown. So they didn't even take him serious. They knew they were going to win this game. Like, I love it.
Championship mentality, man. Championship mentality.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? All right, so moving on to number 3, I have your Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe a bit of a surprise, but let me explain to you why. So the Philadelphia Eagles, they ended last year on a bad note. They were doing a lot of kumbayas and team meetings, and the team basically fell apart and lost in the first round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But when you look at it in hindsight, they reloaded. They got 2 good defensive backs. They added Saquon Barkley. That offensive line still looks good, you know, because Saquon Barkley went out there and just shredded the Packers. I mean, they just killed the Packers. Jalen Hurts had two turnovers, but he also threw 2 touchdowns as well. And their defense, when it mattered, they didn't give up any touchdowns in the end. They came back from a deficit, and they beat the Packers. Over on a field that one was crappy. 2, you're playing overseas, and you're getting booed. It was supposed to be a home game for them, right? But they were getting booed in that stadium. You know,
they're getting booed because Jalen Hurts is playing like ass. But go ahead, keep going. Go ahead, keep going. I'm about to tear this apart. Let's go.
But you know, Kenneth Gainwell, he came through big time too. You know, Dallas Goedert. I like it. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, if they can stay, if Jalen Hurts can play somewhat competent and not turn the ball over, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. What you got, Nate?
Okay, so I actually think right now, if we're talking just overall play and all this, I'm going to put the Rams over the Eagles. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the Rams went into our house and should have probably won that game. You know, we were one Durant interception away from this game being done, toast. Okay? Like, he dropped the interception. Like, that was a hell of an interception attempt. He just dropped it. Like, if he makes that interception, it's over. We go down 10 points, and we probably don't come back in that game. So Stafford played out of his mind. He threw dots all over the place. They were playing without Puka Nacua. Their O-line held up pretty well against our D-line. I mean, they had their moments, but for the most part, they held in check for the most part. Their defense was very aggressive. I don't know about the Eagles, man. I watched that Eagles game against the Packers, and Jalen Hurts looked horrible.
He did. He looked bad.
And I've been telling you this at the beginning or the offseason. Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts is not a good mixture because Kellen Moore wants that short passing, precise passing, throwing from the pocket. Jalen Hurts is not that type of quarterback, man.
I agree with that.
And that to me doesn't make no sense. That's why Saquon Barkley is more featured in this offense than Jalen Hurts was. Yep. You know, and the fact is that if Jair Alexander even could cover a hair, you wouldn't heard anything from Brown because Brown like literally had one big play and maybe Devontae Smith had a couple of plays. But anyways, what I'm saying is I will put the Rams ahead of the Eagles because both defenses are suspect. Let's go start there. Okay. Both defenses are suspect and both have good running backs, Saquon Barkley and Kyren Williams. Lions did a hell of a job on Kyren Williams, okay? That dude ate last year, and he had 50 yards against us. So kudos to the Lions on that. I go to quarterback play. I'm taking Stafford over Hurts all day, every day, period.
Yep.
So that's why I put the Rams over the Eagles right now. Now, if the Eagles defense improves, if Quinyon is the guy that they expect to be, and, you know, whoever, Carter, Davis inside, if they really can get better and all that, then I would put the Eagles ahead of the Rams. But right now, the Rams are the third best team in the NFC because they're depleted, but look at how they still almost beat us, man. Let's be honest. You know,
I agree. You know,
Stafford can still throw the ball.
Only thing I will say is that the Eagles came out with that dub.
I get it. That's fair. Go ahead, B.
Get that dub. I have to get it. But what say you, B. Strilla? Want to put you
So the first game of the season is always an overreaction to everybody. Okay. as much as I wanted the Lions to come out and beat the smack out of the Rams, deep in my heart, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I just wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
But it's the first game of the season, a defense that hasn't played together except in training camp.
Yeah.
And then you got an offense, that didn't do any preseason games either. You could tell Goff wasn't really sharp. He was one of the ones that had a low PFF. Believe me, I was looking at him like, dude, somebody over and smack the hell out of Goff real quick because he's making some uncharacteristic, like that interception. I was like,
that was a force. That was a force.
That was forced. He almost had a couple of those that were picked up, like the one that almost ended the game, where the guy just dropped the interception. I was like, oh, dude,
that was Durant. That was Durant, the one we're talking about. Yeah, that was bad. But let me
my
go.
heart dropped. I was like,
yeah, let me go back to that pick with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay, that's Ben Johnson. Like, that's Ben Johnson getting too cute. Like, the first couple of plays before that, you ran the ball down their throat. You got about 8 to 9 yards a play. Why not continue to keep running the ball? Like, why do we got to get cute in the red zone? Like, that frustrates me about Ben Johnson. As much as I want to give Ben Johnson my flowers a lot of times, that pisses me off because when you got something going good, stick with it. You notice in the overtime he did that. He didn't get cute with throws. He just pounded the football, said, hey, we're getting chunk plays. Let's keep going, wear them down. And remember what I told y'all. If we have a lead, we need to wear them down. Ben Johnson needs to get on page with that shit because that cost us the game.
Yeah, we can blame Ben Johnson for that particular play and play call, but it comes down to the execution of the players.
Oh,
and
but
if
it's
Goff sits
play.
there and
you
just just throwing it right in the covers, I know you want to get Amon St. Brown, in the game. He only had 3 catches at the end of the day, but you can't do that. You can't force a play.
Eat it, take a sack, throw it away, do something.
And
else.
that one was the last one was definitely a Goff mistake too. I mean. That dude, if he caught that ball, we've been messed up. But
that was a hell of a play by Durant because Chris Collinsworth said it on the broadcast. He was trying to throw it over J-Mo, and that's where J-Mo and Goff need to get. They did well, but they need to get better at that, knowing how high to point the ball because he didn't expect Durant to go up that high, and I didn't either. Because if he don't go up that high, J-Mo's got a touchdown, wide open touchdown.
How about them hops, man? That vertical was sick.
Dude, that was more of the player than the quarterback.
Yeah, that was
a hell of a play.
Yeah.
The last interception, that was bullshit. Yeah, you don't throw that crap in the middle. You throw that away, take the sack, or run the football.
I was like, oh my goodness, no, he didn't. He dropped the ball. I said, thank goodness. That's how.
That was a huge point of the game because if we were up, I think we were up 17-13. All right, we had momentum. We had just gotten a couple of first downs. If we get a touchdown on that drive, that's 24-13. You're up by 11 points. And then you're feeling really good getting the ball back to Stafford. But instead, they took that ball and went all the way downfield and scored a touchdown.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. That was a great ending to the game. That's how you do it. But moving on to number 4, I had to switch these around because I thought about it. This is week 1. We're talking about just how good they are right now as they stand right now. I had the Green Bay Packers, but I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys over the Green Bay.
I agree. Yeah, screw the Packers, man. They're not even in this ranking, bro. Like,
I'm gonna give you
Love was ass before he got hurt, bro. Like, did you watch that game? He was terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain it because first off, Sunday morning I get breaking news on my phone saying that Dak Prescott got a deal done. And I'm like, oh goodness, okay, for sure. How's that going to affect him playing in the game? So just recently, we know CeeDee Lamb signed his extension, and now Dak Prescott, hours before the game, they went out there and they dropped a bomb on Cleveland. I mean, they just dunked Cleveland in the trash can and just boat raced them off of the field. So to be able to go in a hostile environment like Cleveland, be able to, clear up a lot of things all hours before the game, and then just blow the Browns out, that's pretty impressive. That is crazy impressive. We know that they didn't really have any off-season acquisitions like that, but they went out there and they played, man. They showed why they want to be a contender and why the whole NFL should take them serious. Nate, what are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead, B. I'll let you talk first.
B, go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts.
So you got Dallas at 4?
I got Dallas at 4. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Who'd
The
you
thing
have?
about Dallas, about them even they're a good regular season team. I don't worry about Dallas in the regular season because they're gonna do Dallas things in the regular season. You know, good offense, good defense. It's just when they come to the playoffs, it's like
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do in the playoffs? We know what
Right.
you could do in the regular season.
Poop the bed.
they always fail.
I will say this about Dallas: their defense is really good. They lost Dan Quinn. I thought that they were going to take a really big step back, and they looked as good without Dan Quinn. And don't forget, they still have Bland that's on the IR right now. So once Bland comes back with Trevon Diggs, you got Micah Parsons, who they can line up anywhere and is huge X player on the team. Like, the guy just does everything. And people ask me why I picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions for that reason.
Yep.
Because we don't have an answer for Micah Parsons.
Yeah, we
He
do.
is the
If we can,
We did last year. Last year he was not a non-factor in last year's game.
I think he's
Non-factor.
Well, if they line him up with Taylor Decker, I'm screaming.
Anybody with a good offensive line,
yeah,
will beat Dallas. And we should have beat
They have
Dallas.
to chip block him. They're going to
Yeah.
have to throw him off because he's a.
But
You see what Green Bay? You see what Green Bay did to him. That's because
That's
they had a
true,
good
but you
offensive
also-
line.
but you also
Micah
have
Parsons didn't have nothing in that game either.
I get it, but you also have Dexter Lawrence. You have their linebackers are more improved. Their secondary is really good. Like, that defense scares me because they're aggressive, they're fast, they're multiple. You know, we talk about like with the Vikings defense, the Bears defense, very multiple, very fast, very aggressive, and the Lions struggle against those type of defenses.
Yeah, Nate,
You know.
I got a question for you. So
What's
I
up?
heard you mention Dan Quinn. Do you think that he was the problem? Do you think it was really him, like, kind of not being able to get the full potential out of the defense? Because, like you said, they got a nice team. You got Jordan Lewis, you got Diggs, you got Mike.
Are you talking about when they played the Packers?
Yes.
That was more of the offense, man. The offense can get nothing done. I mean, Dak's throwing pick sixes, wide open players are getting missed. You know, the defense is on the field for a long time. I mean, that was more of the offense, in my opinion. When I watched that playoff game, is the offense looked like crap, but the defense, they made their plays. They actually picked off, I think, Jordan Love in one of the series.
They
But
did.
I don't know. I mean, I put Dallas because even Dak looked pretty solid with Cooks, with his receivers. You know, I mean, CD Lamb looks like he's just left off from last year. I mean, the guy's a straight dude. Ferguson did get injured. That's interesting to see what happens going forward. You know, so but yeah, I put Dallas over the Packers right now.
I got you. For sure. All right. So moving on to numbers
5.
Number 6.
Oh, 6. Oh, you're
we
going
have
top
for
10?
five.
Oh, dang. I thought you did 5.
Yeah, I got Green. I had Green Bay. At
Oh.
5. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I would put the Eagles at 5. Eagles are 5.
I got Green Bay at 5. You want to know why I got Green Bay at 5? One answer only. Jordan Love is injured and he's expected to miss multiple games. So Malik Willis, I don't know if he's been named the official starter for Sunday, but I mean, all signs are pointing towards him being the starter, right? I mean, you just signed him just a couple of weeks ago, and you want to see. That's all you got, really. No more Sean Clifford.
Whose defense is better, Eagles or Packers defense?
I'm going to say the Eagles. You want to know why I say the Eagles? Because you still got Brandon Graham, who won the Super Bowl. You got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. You just added what's his name, Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. You still got Darius Slay. You know, they still got some dogs over on that defense. I think one of Philly's biggest problems why they collapsed last year is because Jalen Hurts didn't get along with Sirianni. They didn't get along. I heard it was
And still not.
get along.
Yeah, it's a bad match with that quarterback and that
It is.
offense. It really is.
Quarterback and your head coach don't get along. That's a recipe for.
If I'm going to go on a limb real quick. Hold on 1 sec. I'm going to go on a limb and say something real quick. If Jalen Hurts struggles going forward, you will see Kenny Pickett start. They got him for a reason.
That's not good either.
No, it's not good either. They can run because he can run what Sirianni wants to do. He can run what Kellen Moore wants to do. If Jalen Hurts struggles, I'm telling you, Kenny Pickett, the calls for Kenny Pickett to get louder and louder. And he played at Pitt.
That would be horrible because I mean you just signed Jalen Hurts to a massive contract.
Yeah, but remember we talked about this with the Eagles with Carson Wentz, and then Jalen Hurts got drafted.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, Carson Wentz was the future, right? Everybody talked about Carson Wentz. Oh, he's awesome. He's great. All this yada, yada stuff. And then Jalen Hurts comes on scene and Carson Wentz becomes an afterthought.
Yeah, that's true.
Eagles do think some weird things that I don't understand. Like trading for a starting quarterback, that tells me that they don't believe in Hurts.
Big
go ahead.
time dropping our power rankings if they start Kenny Pickett because that guy he can't hit a wide, he can't hit a chair. Put it to you that way. Number 6, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, listen, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as much as people want to say it's Baker Mayfield is doing what it do down there. It's almost like they just pulled out that vintage Baker Mayfield, that Oklahoma Baker Mayfield, that cocky with swagger, that guy who just likes to sling the ball to his receivers and hit a wide open Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay Buccaneers pose a real threat to a lot of NFC teams, and I think they're being very underrated. What you say, Nate?
I mean, other teams, yes. I don't fear them. I mean, we were handling them pretty good. You know, again, our secondary was ass that game, just like the Rams. If we had the secondary we have now, that game wouldn't be close. Period. Like all they have is Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans is a dog. I mean, you can't cover that guy.
Hey, that's unfair, man. Chris Godwin is a beast too.
No, give me Mike Evans. You take out Mike Evans, you take out the Bucks.
Godwin used to be a beast.
Yeah,
he fell off the last couple of years. Yeah,
he
was a beast when Brady was playing. Yeah,
but I don't fear the Bucks. I think we match up great with them, and we're gonna put the hurting to them.
Hey, listen, let me tell you about Baker Mayfield, man. He threw 286 yards, 89 with 4 touchdowns. You know what his QBR was? His rating was 146.4. He was
also against the Commanders.
Hey,
just saying.
Hey, man, you know what? It doesn't – listen, as long as you get the job done, man, that's all that matters. I'm pretty sure down there in Tampa Bay, they're happy to have Baker Mayfield. You know?
Sure, and I get it.
So, number 7, I got the Los Angeles Rams. You want to know why I say the Rams? Because while the Rams has a really good offense that can pose threats to any NFL team, they still are very inexperienced on that defensive side. Now, when that defensive side starts to step up, you can see Fisk making plays. You can see Durant making more plays, and the other guy. I think you'll see the Rams.
Verse.
Yes, Jared Verse. I don't know how I forgot his name, but Jared Verse, he even got in on the sack as well. You know.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that, man, because the Rams almost beat us, and you're putting us at the top of the list. And all the teams you've mentioned before didn't really play anybody. Like, I don't think you're giving the Rams flowers that they deserve, man. They have arguably 2 of the best receivers. Stafford's a really good quarterback, man. I know it's hard to admit it, but the guy can make every throw. He's accurate, except for that Kirby Joseph interception. I mean, he's pinpoint with everything he does. And that defense, yes, it's unknown, but it's young, it's aggressive, and it's only going to get better. I think you're really sleeping on the Rams, man. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Rams, and I pray to God we don't play them again. I do not want to play the Rams again.
I got you. I just don't think they're there yet. You know, I think they're inexperienced still.
Their quarterback is better than all the ones you just mentioned right now, all those teams. I would take Stafford over all those dudes, period. And quarterbacks win in the NFL. So you got a winning quarterback, you can win plenty of games.
Puka Nacua and some offensive linemen are missing. You know, I put them at 7. You know,
Stafford's still throwing dots.
I got you. I put them at 7 without them being a winner because they proved that they were a good team.
But if you're just basing it on wins, it's not fair because the Lions are such a good team. You know,
well, let me clarify the point for both of y'all for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, they played well because we had a defense that just started all together. Okay, it's the first game. Again, people make overreactions to one game. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Rams are going to do that well. this year because they're missing too many players. They just traded one of their top linebackers. One of their best corners is out for the year, and they got a young defense. Yeah, Stafford could do all this stuff. Stafford will probably win a few games just based on Stafford in general, but he's used to that kind of stuff being here. So he will get a few wins just by that fact. And what are they going to do for any other teams that come through, have a really good defense? Is they going to do quick throws all the time? I mean, as this progresses through the season, defenses are going to solidify, and he ain't going to be able to throw those quick passes like that. Somebody's going to jump them passes.
That's true.
And just imagine how many passes we could have picked off in that game. Ryan Branch had 2
for sure,
and Carlton Davis had 1. That was just a defense in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that over the course of time.
I know. Yeah. I think the short passes is the way they're going to go because that plays in Stafford's hands because Stafford loves to get the ball out pretty quickly, or he's gotten better at getting the ball out really quickly. And you've got Cooper Kupp, who pretty much is open all the damn time. He's like an Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of mold, Yeah. And Kyren Williams is not going to be shut down every game. He's going to get his yards. We just did a damn good job of stopping him and then forcing Stafford to just throw dink and dunk the whole game.
Well, that's what I'm saying, where some of his wins will come from. But if they play a good team, like they play San Francisco.
He down 2 good targets now.
They ain't winning that game. They're not winning that game. This is not. Yeah. There's no way in hell they're going to win that game.
Fair.
It's just not going to happen. They can't block. And San Francisco's defense is already established because those are players that have been there. We're working on a defense, and we almost picked off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
They're not the upper echelon of us or the 49ers. But what I'm saying is that they're probably after us. I don't think they're better. I think they're better than Dallas because, like I said, Dallas is a really good defense, but we don't know what Dak can bring to the table when the big games matter. Stafford's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to get there. He knows he's had the success. And then the Eagles are a mess right now, man. They won that game, but they beat the Packers. They easily could have lost to the Packers. Their defense couldn't stop a cold.
That game was easily losable for both teams. The Packers.
Sure, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying right now, I would put the Rams as the third best NFC team.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll tell you how I do it. I do my power rankings really after week 4 because everybody.
Yeah, you have to give it about five.
You give them 4 or 5 games, and then we'll see what happens from that point. Yeah, everything's overreaction. Like what happens next week? What happens next week? And they kill Arizona. This is the Rams because they play the Arizona next week. What did they go kill the Arizona Cardinals? And everybody's going to say, "Oh well, hell, they're going to go and play San Francisco." But no, the hell they ain't. San Francisco's going to kill them.
I wouldn't always say overreaction. I would say more of the uncertainty of the season because, like you said, a lot of these teams did not play in preseason, so the rust was knocked off for a lot of teams, and a lot of teams look rusty. So, yeah, I agree with you. 4 to 5 weeks, you can give a power ranking. You can have a better idea of who's good, who's not good, but don't sleep on the Rams, man. I'm telling you. The Rams
do one per month. That's why I'm going to do 1 per month. I'm going to break it up into increments to see. This is my first one. I just wanted to see how everybody, what they thought of the NFC and who's
Can we talk about the game a little bit? Because I didn't get to come on and talk about my thoughts on the game.
Can I blow through it really quick? Let's just blow through
it. Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
2 minutes. At 8, I got the Seattle Seahawks. Hey, they came out on top. They became a winner. I think Seattle, they're coming together. I think the only thing they are missing is really good quarterback play. If they had good quarterback play, I think they'd be great. Everybody agree with that? Would you agree that, I don't think Geno Smith is that guy? You can see Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. You can see, what's his name, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Everybody can do their job, but Geno Smith, he just doesn't look like Geno Smith.
I would put the Saints over the Seahawks. Just by the game that they played, they scored 47 points. They dominated on both sides of the ball. They look more impressive than the Seahawks did. The Seahawks were fighting against a rookie quarterback.
I see.
And they let him come back into the game.
Think about it like this as well. The coaching staff on New Orleans is basically intact. The players that were there last year are there this year. Carolina just sucks. Okay, Bryce Young is not their answer. They're going to be going to another quarterback after this year if he continues.
Yeah,
his
it
pace.
sure
Bryce,
looks like it looks like
every
it.
play. I watched a lot of that game too, and let me tell you, Bryce Young he doesn't look like he's comfortable at all with anything going on in that offense. And their defense. And of course, their defense isn't playing well. They got rid of Brian Burns. I mean, everything is different for Carolina. So New Orleans should have dominated that game. They better have dominated that game. And whereas Seattle, they have a new head coach and a defense that's off that new head coach because he's a defensive coach. And so they have to put them. They're kind of in the same situation the Lions are as far as the defense is concerned.
Yeah, they're still feeling it out.
They're still feeling it out. So. I mean, you got to look at it from both cases. New Orleans, that's another overreaction for a team.
But let me say this.
Yep.
They didn't just dominate; they killed that team. They're the only team that put up 40 points the first week of the season. Now, whether it's an anomaly, I don't know. But I tell you what, that Saints team, if healthy and Carr has his head on straight and plays consistent. That team's a playoff team. You heard it here.
That shall be to be seen. That's what I have at 9, the New Orleans Saints. You know, we just talked about that. At 10, I have the Minnesota Vikings. They went out there and they just obliterated.
They played the Giants. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's why they were at.
We're talking. And this is what I'm talking about. See, you just said it right there. Oh, they played the Giants. But damn, the New Orleans Saints just played the Carolina.
Yeah,
and Carolina's
but
worse than the Giants
but
at
the
this
Saints
point.
put up 47 points on a team. The freaking Vikings barely
on
blew them out
Carolina,
at the end.
who is a contender for the #1 pick for 2020.
I don't know. The Giants are by the #1 pick, if you ask me. Both teams.
The Giants are pretty close
bad.
to them, but
At 11,
I'm gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
man.
come on. Let's stop there. Come on, let's just stop there.
I
We
want
don't need to go
to
that.
give you your time to talk about the game, so I want to blow through it. You know, because I know you got a lot of.
Well, I don't agree. I think the Bears are over the Vikings.
I was just going to say at 11, I got the Chicago Bears. Why? Because that offense is putrid. Until they show me that they can score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, but their defense is elite, bro. It is
It's
Super Bowl elite.
It's elite, but you want to know something? If their offense cannot score, you will not win in this league. You will not get defensive touchdowns every single game. That is just unheard of.
I don't know, man. They made it to Super Bowl with a crappy ass offense that one year.
This isn't 1985. People are going to specifically they're going to control the ball, which we know that Tennessee can't do. They're going to control the ball. What happens if you go up against a team that can really run the ball like Detroit or like Philly, right? It's going to be very hard to do that. So until they show me they can score an offensive touchdown, Caleb Williams isn't under so much stress. I got to keep them at number 11. I just can't do it. My heart won't let me do it. At 12, I have the Atlanta Falcons. Embarrassment of a game. They played against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I would say that, man. Tomlin's a G, dude. I told you Tomlin was going to win that game, bro. You don't win a lot of games against Tomlin.
I agree. But Kirk Cousins, he looked like an 80-year-old man out there playing. I think he's still.
He is an 80-year-old man.
He's still, coming off of an Achilles. That's just bad.
Yeah.
Injury can really derail somebody's career. It just is. That's just the fact, man. Embarrassment of a game. At 13, I have the Arizona Cardinals. They blew a lead when they were facing their opponent. They blew a lead. They were supposed to win that game, and they just couldn't hold on to the lead. I want to see them actually go on a win streak before I actually boost them up in the power rankings. But until then, they're still Arizona Cardinals to me.
The fact that they hung with Buffalo is impressive.
It is impressive, but you blew a lead. And anytime you blow a lead like that, you're trying to prove yourself.
Go ahead, B. What you got?
First games of the season.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. It's like I know you want to put everybody ahead of everybody because of what they did in the first game. I'm not doing that with Chicago either. I'm just going to go back to Chicago real quick. Chicago played Tennessee. All right. Tennessee is not projected to be a great team anyway. And Levis played like ass in the second half. I don't know what happened at halftime. I guess he didn't eat enough mayo or whatever the hell he does because he went out there and played like
he just threw the ball. He just threw the ball to get a gift and interception. But still, man, that defense that defense is good. It's really
I'm not
good.
sold on that defense. I'm not sold on that defense. I'm not sold on anything Chicago right now until they play a legitimate team. They play a legitimate team. I'm not doing nothing with them.
I think honestly, after the Rams, I can't tell you who's the next best teams because I need to see more because of the opponents and who they played and all that. But I know going into the season, the Rams, the Lions, and 49ers are the 3 best teams right now in the NFC. And the Eagles are honorable mention.
Don't know. But at 14, I have your Washington Commanders. The Commanders, they just seem like that they're, young, just trying to put some pieces together. I like Jay Daniels. He reminds me of Lamar Jackson. When people were making that comp, I'm like, why? Why? Because he's a running quarterback, black, whatever. But seeing his style of play, he is very similar to Lamar Jackson. I like that. I think that offensive coordinator over there can really build a team around him and put pieces together like they did, LJ.
It's a better thrower than Lamar Jackson, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can throw that ball. He can sling it, man. So that's what I got at 14. 15, I got the New York Giants. Horrible team.
Right.
Horrible. Daniel Jones. You got to
fight for the first round draft pick.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, listen, you have a quarterback, a receiver called Malik Neighbors. Do you know who that is? Does that ring a bell? He's really good. He's a great receiver. I know we haven't seen much of him yet, but you've seen him making contested throws. You know what his ability is. He's a big body kid. He can get those 50-50 balls. What are you doing? Your defense, they just looks totally lost out there.
Yeah.
You understand?
A lot of new pieces. Yeah.
It's not. Let me tell you something. I watched the preseason game with the Giants. The last one, I think it was, and Danny Pennies was out there throwing. Same situation in the real game that he faced in the exhibition season. Within his 20-yard line, throws a pass, and it gets picked off and returned for a touchdown. Dude, the same thing happened in this game that they just played. Same thing.
His confidence is shot.
What the hell are you doing? Since he's gotten paid, he's thrown more pick sixes than touchdowns.
That is crazy. What is the really quick? What is the odds that Brian Daboll is the first head coach to get fired this season?
I don't think it's. I mean, I think they're going to keep Daboll. I think there's Jones is going to get benched at some point. Yeah, it's not Daboll's fault. I mean, I did expect more tutelage from Daniel Jones by Daboll because he did such a good job with Josh Allen. But you're not going to give it to Brian Daboll. He's one of the best offensive minds out there. He'll get a job in 2 seconds. Where they really messed up is letting Saquon go.
Yep. Because
Saquon covered for Danny Jones's ass. And now there's no coverage for Danny Jones' ass. He's just going to have to be ass because you have no running game. Your defense is still figuring things out. Yeah, it's an ugly situation.
Trash.
Yeah.
You think they go 0-17?
Say that again?
No, I think they'll win a game. They'll win a game at some point.
What about Carolina? Because I know you got Carolina last.
2-15. Yep.
I haven't seen their schedule, but I'm sure they'll win one.
Carolina Panthers. They just look god awful out there. I mean, it's just bad. I don't know what they're doing down there in Charlotte, but they need to straighten their act up. I mean, you made a deal with the devil to trade up and go and get Bryce Young, and now look at you. You're horrible. Nobody.
Well, you should have kept DJ Moore. That's what you should have done.
Kept DJ Moore. Should have kept Burns. You should have just built around. So when you wanted to get your quarterback, you were able to at least do something. But typical Carolina, who can go through 3 head coaches in like 2 years, just not good. Just poorly ran franchise. I'm surprised that it's Carolina. We can really say it's not Detroit anymore, right? So that is your NFC power rankings.
I'm looking through Carolina's schedule, by the way. I don't see one game so far. I'm in week 8 and I don't see a game they can win.
They'll find one.
We'll see.
Squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Every now and then.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, you would say that, but 2 teams in this century have gone 0-16.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
We'll see. They got some talent. I think they'll find a way to scrape out a win.
But Nate,
they changed quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But Nate, let's go, man. What you got?
I mean, listen, I think everybody had the Lions kicking ass in this game. I think we all did. And I think we're all prisoners of the moment, and the moment got too big for us, and reality hit us in the face.
What's a good one? Prisoners of the moment.
Yeah, and reality hit us in the face that we're not there yet. Okay, we have a lot of work to do. Like, are the pieces there? Yes, the pieces are there on both sides. You see it on offense, you see it on defense, you see it in special teams. They're all there. It's just a matter, like Dan said, just get better every game. Just get better every game. Like, this is not going to be a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I saw a lot of positives from the Lions on Sunday. A lot of very hopeful things with the pass rush, with Davenport and Hutch just eating inside. Love that. The secondary, BB looked rough early, but man, he is so instinctive. He should at least had at least 2 picks, at least. Got to clean up the tackling. I'm not too mad about that. It's rust. He didn't play in the preseason. Hey, you'll be fine. BB's not going to miss a lot of tackles. Terrian played well, was very good at tackling at the ball. Those PIs, one of them I was not sure about. The other one, for sure, yes, it was a PI call. He was all over him like buy him dinner first, bro.
That was the one that was in the end zone, and he had his back toward the.
Exactly, yeah. You got to turn your back. You got to play the ball.
Rookie mistake 101
exactly,
right there.
Absolutely, exactly. Meek looked good, had a PBU. Kirby, what can we say about Kirby, man? He just catches the football.
Monster.
I mean, you see the hands on him?
Monster.
The hands, that catch he had, that's a receiver catch, bro. Like right in front of the receiver, he just like, thank you. That was huge because that's points that we took off the board. So secondary play balls out, in my opinion. You didn't give up one big play. The only big play you gave up is a play that you juked the crap out of Carlton Davis, and the guy took it downfield, and Rodrigo had to make the tackle to prevent the touchdown. That's the only big play I saw the whole game. Other than that, you kept everybody in check. You kept everything in front of you. That's a win from the last time we saw the Lions play in secondary, where Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were just having a field day. The linebackers, Alex Anzalone, bro. Come on, man. That guy was a heat-seeking missile. Heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, dude.
Set the tone in the game. Man. I think Alex could be all pro this year, man. If he gets his hands on some picks and some fumbles, he's all pro. Because the tackles are going to come. Like, the dude is playing out of his mind. I didn't hear a lot from Jack. I don't know. Maybe Jack just had a bad game. But he was very quiet.
I think he got replaced near the end
Rodrigo
of the
was
game
in there
with
too.
Rodrigo. Yeah, Rodrigo was playing at the end of the game. He made a couple of good plays too.
So hopefully that's just
settle in, man. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm not worried. Again, we're talking first week 1, but still, Jack, that's a little bit disconcerting for Jack. Everybody's been talking about Jack has been great in training camp. He's been picking people off and all that. Need to see more from Jack, and I think we will. Offensively, listen, Ben Johnson, bro. I got a little bone with you, bro. Like, stop being cute with the offense, okay? Just run the ball, and I love the JMO touchdown. That was beautiful. I love seeing that. Take shots. I'm not against taking shots, but don't throw passes where you need 10 yards and you throw a 7-yard pass. Like, we saw that way too many times. Even Dan alluded to that in his press conference. Yeah, we had too many 3-and-outs. Well, no shit, because you keep throwing the ball 7 yards when you got to go 10. And people want to say, oh, well, Laporta and Brown were kind of cuffed together. They didn't really have their openness. Listen, man, that's going to happen. Get used to it. That's why JMO is an important part. That's why the run game is an important part, because that offsets if people can get on JMO and people, I'm going to say people can get on Laporta and people can get on Brown. They're going to get their own at some point. But that's the reality we're going to be looking at. So that's why JMO has to continue to be what he was on Sunday night.
I want to see it. I hope he continues to do that.
I think he can. Yeah. I mean, he looked good, bro. I mean,
now let me ask you about that pass to JMO. All right. I've been looking at you, Lions fans, man. Sometimes I just want to slap the crap out of some of them.
I'm with you on that.
The pass that Goff threw,
Mhm.
and it was a touchdown. I ain't got no problem with that. But I've heard comments like, "Oh, Goff put that in the right spot, and dude had to slow down, turn around, and catch it, and almost got caught by the corner." Yes, Goff can throw long, and Goff was rusty. That's what I attributed that pass to. If he throws that in stride, he's never going to get touched by the DB, even at the goal line. He's already in.
Yeah.
I'm just telling. I said Goff was looking not Goff-like in that game. Okay, he's knocking rust off. I don't have no problem with it, but don't go acting like he's throwing dimes every play. And he wasn't doing that in that game. Okay, he was.
I mean, to be honest, he really didn't throw the ball a lot. I mean, there wasn't a lot of big opportunities where he's throwing. Yeah. The best throw I would say in the game for me was the Laporta, the big Laporta catch where he got the penalty on top of that. That was a good throw. He hit Laporta right in the seam, and then Laporta got the foul. Like, that was one of his better throws. But let me go back to Ben Johnson, because I'm trying to understand how Ben Johnson works as an offensive coordinator. And I'm starting to think that he overthinks himself, because, okay, we go run, and then we got to pass. Defense knows that, or we go pass and then run again, like, I think when you got third and short, you should run the football most of the time.
I agree with you on that, Nate. But Dan Campbell, I was listening to his interview when he was on the radio today. He said that they want to be able to run the ball. He said that's their identity, is running the ball.
Of course.
So while it may seem obvious to some like us, while it may seem obvious to like other defenses, it's really like he has a trick up his sleeve. He wants to be able to outsmart the defensive coordinator and head coach on the other side.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but there's a right time and place. Like, we talk about Dan Campbell going for things when he shouldn't go for things. The same thing can be said about the offensive coordinator. There's a time and place where you can throw out those trigger plays, or you can take, like I said, I have no problem taking shots with J-Mo. No problem. You need to use J-Mo like that, because if you looked at J-Mo's plays, if we broke down J-Mo's plays, his big plays, the sweep, that's a J-Mo play.
J-Mo,
they love giving the sweep. Now we hopefully don't want to get hit that hard, but hey, yeah, exactly. There you go.
I like it.
Then you had the other one, and nobody talked about the one where he went across the middle, and I told you he went past those linebackers, and good luck trying to stop that dude with that kind of speed. We need to see more of that, because the thing with J-Mo is you have to get him in space. With Jahmyr Gibbs, you have to get him in space, because what I thought the Lions did a lot of, and I was really frustrated with Ben Johnson, is we ran inside too much. And the Rams actually played really well inside because they knew the ball was going inside. They covered the middle and they covered the interior of the D-line. That's why it was tough getting yards inside. So what did Ben Johnson do? He put him on the sides. He put J-Mo going to sweep. He put J-Mo on the outs. He put Jahmyr on the outside. Like, you got to spread the defense out, bro. It's like basketball. If you put everybody all together, they're all going to run into each other. But if you go 5 out, then you got to make the defense work more. And Ben Johnson's got to do that more. Like, I want to see more screenplays. I want to see more draws. I want to see more in space. I don't know why we don't do that, because we have the horses to do that.
Bully ball. But you want to know something? I do want to say something we just totally missed and we glossed over. Jake Bates. Give Jake Bates his flowers.
Yeah,
a lot of people were talking mess about him. I mean, he actually kicked the game-time field goal to send us into overtime. Let's be honest. If he misses that field goal,
that was a pressure kick. That was his first pressure kick with Detroit. It was an easier kick. He was expected to make that, but still.
And he made it, man. So I want to give Jake Bates his flowers.
And also, too, I want to add to that, too, the Lions signed Greg Joseph to the practice squad. Because they had talked about bringing a kicker onto the practice squad just in case they want to maybe go a different route. And so Greg Joseph is now on the practice squad for the Lions.
Hey,
Bates is looking over his shoulder.
Hey, look, that's why Bates made his field goals, man. He did his job. He completed it. Give him his flowers, man.
And Fox was outstanding. Fox is Nobody talks about Fox, man. Fox is damn one of the best punters in the NFL, period. At one point, he was the highest paid punter.
Dude, that was
Deserves it.
one of the low-key MVPs in that game. Low-key, because he
Best
put
punter, man.
if it wasn't for the fact we would have got the ball one time, they would have got the ball one time on 1 yard line, but somebody
Ennis,
slid in.
that was Ennis.
He was being too.
Ennis,
He was
yeah.
just so excited. He was like, "Oh my god!"
Ennis was not
Damn,
the
right
menace
into it.
there. He was kind of
Yeah.
the one that caused that. No, I remember that. That was a hell of a punt. Yes.
Yeah, great punt.
Yeah.
I mean, that boy just went boop and landed
And-
like on. Man, that dude
And
was
like I
awesome.
said, when you watch this game as a Lions fan, let's be real. Even if we lost the game, there was a lot of encouraging situations for this game. The secondary, the D line, the way JMO played, like just right there off the bat. Hell, even David Montgomery. We haven't even talked about David Montgomery. David Montgomery, forget Jahmyr Gibbs for a minute. David Montgomery is like, dude, I'm still here. Like, don't forget me, man. And we haven't forgot you, David, because at the end of the day, if we need tough yards, if we need some toughness, it's going to come from David Montgomery. And I'm so glad we have him because
That whole
he
drive was
literally
Demo.
he
That
willed his
overtime drive was
way.
Demo.
Yes, exactly. He willed his way to give us the victory. And man, that was just awesome. But like I said, the Lions have all the pieces. They're still young guys. We have a lot of youth that we're relying on.
Yes.
And they're only going to get better.
Did you
Like,
guys?
they're only going to get better.
Montgomery
first game.
flowers because J-Mo shouted out David Montgomery for the things he did. Let's not gloss over that man is a monster.
Yeah, the way this team, let me say this about this team. The way this team respects each other is amazing. And I don't know other teams how they do it. All I care about is what we do. I don't give a crap about any other teams. But when I see David Montgomery sitting front row and watching Jared Goff give his press conference, that says something to me.
Big
Because
time.
you just got done with this game, bro. You could easily go home and, dude, I'm tired. I'm going to get in the shower. I'm going home. I'm going to go see my kids, whatever. He sat front row in that press conference and literally listened to Jared Goff talk. Literally. That is something. And then how about Jared Goff giving the Sunday Night Football to JMO? And, JMO said, and I don't know if this is true or not, because JMO's a damn good player. He's never gotten a game ball. And I almost cried when I heard that because I'm thinking, like, this kid, if he never got a game ball, can you imagine how that made him feel? Like, how emotional he could have gotten in that situation because he's never had a game ball. If he's really serious about that, man, I just
That's very true. That's very true.
I can't say enough about this team.
And another quality of it too is, like I was telling Jay earlier, Brian Branch, after the game, he came out to DC and stood right there and said, "Dude, I'm not missing any more tackles. Not missing anymore." And went
Brian
right to his locker.
No,
Just like he knows.
Yeah, nobody's worried about Brian Branch. I knew Brian Branch was gonna have some rust, but I tell you what, man, if that's his rust game, that's better than some player's game.
Right?
I mean,
True.
the dude was everywhere, man. I don't know how PFF put him at one of the lowest grades. Probably with tackling is probably what it was.
Yeah, tackling is a factor.
I freaking love it, man.
Yeah. No, this team is fun, man. This
And
team
again,
is exciting.
This is just the first game.
Oh yeah, no.
And I, like, deep in my soul, I knew that they were going to have a rough game because they just haven't played real football with each other. Training camp is like college. And if you're not playing, like, we brought up the linebacker. He might have been great in training camp, but I mean, you gotta get out there in the field and prove your point in a real game. And maybe that was the problem. He didn't transfer what he did in training camp to the real football game. So, and Rodrigo has that experience. So he came in there, and Rodrigo's like the last linebacker.
Rodrigo's ready to go, man. He's always ready. Like Shep said it best. Shep's like, we got 4 starting linebackers: Barnes, Rodrigo, Jack, and Anzalone. When you say you've got 4 starting linebackers, that's pretty impressive. And you can even throw German there in a pinch. So you got 5 starting linebackers in a sense. So, yeah, dude, this team is good. We're gonna get better.
Oh,
The one thing I'll put one PB out to one player. Carlton, please catch that interception. Come on, man. That's right in your freaking hands, bro. You want to get paid, you got to make that pick, bro. Right in your hands, man. You could have literally won us the game before we had gone to the overtime and won it. Because if he catches that, we could get another 5 or 6 yards and kick that field goal.
Well, I'm sure they're saying the same thing on the Rams side. Durant, he's like,
Wow.
dude, that was in the breadbasket and you dropped it.
Yeah.
How did you drop that?
That was a
That was
hard interception, man. I thought that
Yeah.
guy came down with it. I was like, dude, did that guy really pull that thing down? Because if he pulled that,
I saw
down
the ball
and
roll
caught
away
it,
from him
yeah,
when he
man.
fell. I was like, whew, thank God.
That was a hell of a play, man.
Goff got away with that one too. I was like, dude, why the hell did you throw that?
You
I
gotta
told
throw
you
it
not to
higher,
throw
man.
that.
That's just him and JMO not being in sync on that play, man. Because even Collinsworth said it. If he throws it higher and more of an arc, JMO's got a touchdown. Because
Well, that's what I
Durant's
was
gonna
saying
jump.
about-
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about the touchdown that he did throw to JMO, that 52
Mm-hmm.
yarder. I said he just got to put more touch on. I don't know if his timing is right with the pass, because, like I said, your receivers should not have to turn around and catch it. He should be catching that, especially with his speed in stride.
You know, I want
And
to
I-
see that play again because I didn't sense that with him. I thought that he did hit him in stride and some pretty much. I mean, of course, JMO's a fast guy. He's got to slow down, man. Goff is
depends
not.
on
he doesn't have-
what your definition of stride is, because I had this argument with somebody else too, and they said, "Well, you doing it?" I said, "If the receiver even has to turn around, slow down to catch it, that's
fair.
not in
That is-
stride." But that's okay.
That is fair.
It was still
Yeah.
a touchdown. I'm not saying that, but these are things that you got to look forward to in the future, because you want Goff to have that mind meld with JMO, so that when that happens again, he'll put that boy right in there, because
I agree.
White is a slower corner. He's a good corner, but he's a slow corner.
Mhm.
And if that would have been a fast corner, a young fast corner, JMO probably would have got tackled.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, even if he got tackled, that's still a big play. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. There's not gonna be a lot of cornerbacks that keep up with JMO in speed, foot to foot.
True.
There's just not. So I'm not too worried about that. I think they will get better synergy. You know, I'm telling you, if you can if Ben Johnson uses JMO more in the middle, across the middle, and slants and just goes across the middle, there's not even a linebacker in hell that's going to be able to cover that guy with that kind of speed.
Expect a bounce back game from Jared Goff. I expect Jared Goff to get at least 300 passing yards with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Game.
Against Tampa Bay.
Oh
Yeah, their best cornerback is on our team now. I don't know who their
Antoine
cornerback is.
Winfield.
Well, that's not according to them. Their best cornerback is the one that's starting right now.
Winfield
Who is it?
out.
Carlton Davis wasn't exactly. He was starting to go down as far as not being a great corner on that team.
Oh, the injury.
either.
Yeah, the injury.
And it could have been.
definitely
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah. So I mean, it happens, and that's fine. But I still don't think, you got to have like 4 or 5 corners out there, in my opinion. to
Oh yeah.
cover our
In
guys.
today's
This is
NFL, you
nothing.
have to be able to cover multiple players. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this next game because I don't know what it is. The Rams give me so much anxiety. And I think maybe it's because of Stafford, for one, because we know Stafford, we know what he's about, we know how he plays. But there's just a bad mismatch. There's a bad mismatch for us. Their receivers are not what we need our cornerbacks, our young cornerbacks, to be dealing with right now. Especially guys that are great route runners like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and all that. We're lucky Kyron Williams was basically, shut down, which is very impressive without DJ Reader.
Yep.
The Bucs don't worry me because I was telling people this earlier. Stafford's a lot better than Baker. I don't care what you say. And Baker is more of a wrist thrower than Stafford is. Stafford's actually gotten smarter at throwing the ball.
Yeah, and in the later years, yeah.
The Kirby one, that was the hell of a play by Kirby.
There was 3 guys around the receiver he was trying to get to. That was Stafford trying to play hero ball. That's
Did
what
you
that
guys
was.
see the comical post where they were like, "Oh, well, the Lions they cheated because
They
had their
camouflage.
players
No, but that actually I think that's true, because think about it. The Eagles did that in the Super Bowl by wearing white the Chiefs did it by wearing white gloves or no, I don't know what it was. The Eagles wore black gloves or didn't wear white gloves or something like that.
Unfortunately, that theory is bunked because Stafford did throw a touchdown in the end zone. So it's not like he can't see it. If a quarterback has to, if a quarterback succumbs to trickery in the end zone because of color scheme, he's not a good quarterback. That's all
I get that. But in the moment when things are going so fast and you have a blue end zone and you're wearing all blue, that's strategic for a reason. The Lions have never gone blue in the end zone.
That's not what happened. Like I said, Stafford was trying to play hero ball. He threw into deep
he's trying to make a play
in the end zone, and it didn't work for him.
Yeah,
you could see by the look on his face. It's like, damn it! I should have never thrown that pass.
He was trying to thread the needle like he always does. He did that with Detroit. He would always do that with Calvin and stuff like that. That's why it's not surprising. But back to what I was talking about with the Bucs, Baker is a more riskier thrower because if you put him off platform, he's a terrible thrower. He's gonna throw crap. Like, remember the Barnes interception? That was because he was pressured and he threw it right to Barnes. So I'm not worried about Baker Mayfield. The only one that I'm really worried about is Mike Evans. That dude's a dog, and we don't have anybody that can match up with Mike Evans one-on-one. So we're gonna have to bracket him like they did St. Brown with us, and pray to God that our other cornerbacks don't get beat. Because I think that's where it's going to be, the secondary.
Tampa Bay's already in a better position as far as that it goes between them and the Rams, because Tristan Wirth is playing on their offensive line. He's a great
Tristan Wirth and Aiden will be a fun battle.
So the defensive line is going to have to put in a little bit more work than they did against the Rams. And on Baker Mayfield, you're right. If you don't have to worry about Baker Mayfield, you ain't got to worry about Mike Evans. Unless Mike Evans is going to be doing end arounds. If you get pressure in Baker Mayfield's face all the time, then that's the only way I would be worrying about Mike Evans.
Well, if Baker throws a lame duck, he's throwing it to Mike Evans. That's all I'm saying. And Mike Evans is one of the best 50-50 high point balls.
Let's just hope
okay.
Aiden Hutchinson comes in unblocked again and get another sack on him.
That's gonna be a tough matchup with him against Wirfs. It really is.
Time. Yeah,
I think Davenport's going to eat more in this game. I'm telling you, Davenport's coming, bro.
I'll be fine, but I want to see. I want to see Hutchinson get in on an assist or something, because this is supposed to be the season for Aiden Hutchinson to get 15, 16, sacks. Because if you look at Myles Garrett, we're depending on him to be that guy for us, right?
Yeah.
If you look at Myles Garrett, his first 2 seasons he wasn't that good, but in his third season he exploded. Like, he was a whole different guy. That's who Aiden Hutchinson needs to be this year.
Let me say this about Aiden real quick. I love Aiden. I think Aiden's got one of the best motors in the NFL. Probably as close to TJ Watt as possible. Mm-hmm. Those two dudes have probably the highest motors every play, every time. His problem is, dude, you get so close to the quarterback and you don't pull your arms out and wrap up. I don't know what he's trying to do, if he's trying to go for the sack, fumble, or what he's trying to do. But there were a couple of times where he was right behind the quarterback. Dude, bear hug his ass and bring it down.
Well, one of those times he was behind there, he was getting held, and they didn't call it because his arm. He was trying to wrap up Stafford, try to grab him with both arms, but the offensive lineman had his arm behind him, and he was holding that, and they didn't call that. But the point of the matter is, I understand some of that time pressures are good, but sacks are better.
Yeah,
and I think Aiden
fumbles
Hutchinson,
are even great, better than great.
He got 1 sack. There's 16 games. He's already on pace to break his season sack record. So think of it that way.
But when you see him trying to make a sack and he gets shrugged by Matthew Stafford of all people, that's concerning to me. Like, dude,
well, he's a good quarterback. He's a veteran quarterback. I expect that from a veteran quarterback.
I mean,
if it's Bryce Young and that happens, then we got problems.
But he shrugged him and he didn't get the sack. I'm like, come on, bro, hit him hard and sack him and bring him down.
I've seen that when Stafford was playing here, he shrugged some pretty good ass defensive ends too.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we want Aiden to be that number one dominant player at some point in his career, he's got to make those sacks. Myles Garrett would not have missed that. I promise you that. TJ Watt would not have missed that. Hell, TJ Watt had 2 or 3 sacks when they call penalties on the other on this team. Like, I want to see that from Aiden day in and day out. Like, I want to see that aggressiveness. And when you're right by the ball, dude, you either better get a sack or you better get a sack fumble. That's it.
I agree 100%.
Well, if Reader comes back in this next game,
Huge.
I tell you who's going to get a sack. That's Ali McNeil. Ali McNeil was like Aiden Hutchinson in a way. He was close to getting sacks because he was blowing up that Jonah Jackson. I don't give a no what nobody was talking about. Oh yeah, he's their best off. He's playing center. He ain't played center since high school.
Yeah, why are they playing him at center? That was weird.
And he was getting blown up. If it wasn't by Aleem, it was by whoever that Pico or Levi. Either one of those two were knocking him out on his ass. So I don't want to hear about.
Hey,
Jonah
kudos
Jackson.
to Levi, man. Levi had the 3rd best pass rate, rush rate behind Aiden and Davenport.
Oh,
and
that dude was playing brilliantly too. Yeah,
my boy, I'm gonna give my flowers. I'm gonna give it all season. My boy Davenport is the reason why Levi had that sack. Mm-hmm. Did you see the power that Davenport had on his tackles? Like, dude, he was throwing like ragdolls. Like, that's exactly what he needs to be. The guy that pushes the sack closer for Aiden. That's it. Like, just be that guy. And, dude, he's got athleticism himself. Like, he's got such long arms and such power, and he's got some moves himself. Like, dude, watch out, man. Like,
I mean, you got to really give it to the scheduling too. With the Lions, they are in a fortunate scheduling. They play 9 games at home. 1, 2, their first 2 games are at home, which will get them settled in. So when they go to Arizona, they'll already have their foot in the ground. You know what I'm saying? They should have their foot in the ground pretty much by that time. Then they come back home and they play Seattle on a Monday night. Well, you know, Dan Campbell's got that marked down because he's getting sick of losing to that damn team.
Black jerseys, baby. That's what black will be.
So, I mean, really everything is set up. I understand that people, when you get a week 5 bye, I said, well, whatever. I said, but considering what their schedule is, they only play 3 games outdoors. I mean, give me a break.
But let me disagree with you for a sec. I think the NFL was not doing a solid by putting the top 2 playoff teams that were pissed off as hell playing them against the Lions, because those could go either one or 2 ways. You could win both the games and be 2-0, and you're battle tested. You play the playoff teams again and beat them again, or you could be 0-2 and lose both games, and now everybody's off the Lions bandwagon.
Well, I don't think that was they do that to a lot of teams. The Lions are not the first one to be special like that. There's teams that have been to the Super Bowl and they played their playoff teams in the beginning too, and they've gone through that. I don't think it was even that. Well, I knew the Lions are going to. The Lions are going to beat Tampa Bay. They're going to go into Arizona. I don't see them losing. I don't even see them losing to Dallas. You know, you can say whatever you want to say about that damn defense, but that offensive line always squashes Dallas now.
I hope you're right, man. Line. I really do. For some reason, we got way too many. It's like kryptonite, man. It's kryptonite to us.
It ain't kryptonite. That's all in the head, man. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else.
It's been on the head for the last 5-6 games.
They should have won last game, and the referee screwed them over. If anybody's going to screw the Lions over in that game, it ain't going to be the Lions. It's going to be their own damn refereeing. F the NFL, because I'm getting sick of Goodell. I'm getting sick of Dallas being something they ain't. I'm tired of that crap. Dallas needs to get that ass beat just like everybody else.
What did you call Goodell? What did you call Goodell?
The devil.
There you go.
Goodell is the devil.
Yeah. Hey, fellas. It's been real. I'm out. I got to dinner, man, you know.
Yeah. But hey, real quick, we have our Friday show. Yes, we're going to be doing NFL college talk, and we're going to be doing predictions for the upcoming week. Y'all tune in. It's going to be 8:00 Eastern time, and then just trickle down the other time zones. Love to hear from y'all. We're going to have some good talk. That'll be Friday. And thanks for having me on, y'all.
Yes, sir, man.
Glad having you on, dude. You belong on it. So what are you talking about? Having you on?
Hey, I'm just being humble. But thanks B for hosting. Jay, always good to see you. Rumble, wherever you are, man, we got you. You know, and then of course Sunday we have our pregame. So since the game starts at 12 or 1 o'clock y'all's time, we'll have our pregame at 11:30. 11:30 my time. So right. Yeah. No. Yeah, 11:30 y'all's time.
11:30
y'all's time, 10:30 my
10:30
time.
yours, and what is that? 8:30, 9:30, 8:30 on Rumble's time.
Early for Rumble's time. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, 11:30 y'all's time. We're gonna do our pregame. We're gonna talk about the Bucks. We're gonna talk about the matchups, predictions, all that good stuff. I don't have anything else to say. Do y'all have anything else to say? Any final words?
Go
Lions.
All right, and as always, stay classy, Whacker fans.
Peace. Stay classy, Whacker fans.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions.
Dude, that was good, man. I like that. I felt like when I first saw my picture, it looked like a mugshot, but that was awesome.
You were the only one. You were smiling. Jay was up there like, yeah.
No, y'all.
We were trying to do the, the head down thing. That's what we
y'all
were
doing the thug life, man. I'm like, yeah, I'll be the ass. Yeah. I'll be the nice guy. All right, hey, good stuff, man. Can you send me the render of the intro? I want to check it out, or I can catch it on the show, whichever one.
Yeah, I can send you that. Yeah.
Okay, and then also too, did we put the destination for? So the Facebook page that we have set up, do we need to change? In order for it to go on that page, do we have to? Well, because it's a new StreamYard, it won't go on that page, right? Unless we put it as a destination.
What on a new one? What is
that?
Since
we changed the StreamYard, I added it as a destination the last time we did a show, but I didn't see it on our page. It's the first show. So, we're live.
It looks like you got. Oh,